So, what do you mean by static equipment?
Yes, sir. Static means
Yeah.
which is not going to.
Can you give some example of static equipment?
Which is not a dynamic one. Which is not going to move. Which is not going to move. Like a static means static head, water.
Okay, so it's not actually what static head is different.
Sir.
Yeah, what we are going to learn today is static equipment.
Static means which is not moving, sir. Static
Yeah,
condition.
So, yes. The equipment which does not have any moving part, that comes under static equipment. Like pressure vessels, heat exchangers, tanks, columns. These are called static equipment.
Static equipment.
Other kind of equipment, it is rotary. Right? Rotary type of equipment like pump, compressor,
yes, sir.
turbine. These are called rotary equipments. So our focus is static equipment. Static equipment is where the actual design is done. Rotary equipments are mostly vendor specific. They are proprietary kind of equipment. So
okay, sir.
So it's actually the design is developed during fabrication. So it takes longer time to have a feel of design, and it is not independent of fabrication, rotary equipment. But in static, there are codes available for design. So we just need to learn how to design, and then we can start designing immediately. Okay. So I will just brief about what we are going to study in this course. I have already shared the syllabus. So if you have gone through, and if you have any query, we can discuss.
Okay, sir. Sir, in this one, can we learn about heaters?
Heaters. Hello. Yeah, heater means heat exchanger.
Heater design.
Yeah. Yes, there is nothing but a heat exchanger. So we'll be studying heat exchanger design.
Okay, sir.
We'll go through TEMA completely.
Okay, sir, in this one, okay, sir. TEMA, based on TEMA, we can design, sir.
Yeah.
So, okay, sir.
Based on TEMA, we'll be designing the heat exchangers.
Okay, sir.
So we'll go through that.
And this saddles and everything, designing and everything.
Yeah, all
saddles,
type of support. Saddle support, leg support,
lugs, everything.
Lug support, everything will.
Okay, sir.
Then we'll also study about material and its selection for common uses. Okay. And then in the basics, we'll learn about stresses and their limits.
Okay, sir.
And stress created by different types of design load, like dead load, wind, seismic, piping load, eccentric loading, nozzle loads. So we'll study how we will calculate stresses from this type of loads, and then after calculating the stress, we'll compare that with allowable of the material.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Then we'll learn about PV
calculation. So we'll learn.
Yeah, we'll be doing hand calculation for Section 8 Division 1. So all the thickness calculation first we'll learn hand calculation, and then the software will become very easier for you once you know the hand calculation for everything. Okay. So we'll do that. Our first target will be after basics. We'll directly go in the code. We'll read the different clauses which are related to design. We'll not read all the clauses because that is not possible in this course. But design related, all the clauses we'll study. Okay? And wherever formula is given for thickness calculation, that will do hand calculation. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Moving forward, let us come to the basics. Okay, so the main parameter which we enter for designing the thickness is pressure, right? So,
yes, sir.
Can you tell me the difference in absolute and gauge pressure?
Gauge pressure is relative pressure, sir.
Relative to what?
Related to atmospheric pressure.
Okay, so let us say
From
I have 2 bar gauge pressure. Okay, so can you calculate the absolute pressure?
2 bar, sir.
2 bar gauge is the pressure.
2 bar means
2 bar gauge.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
So
can you calculate the absolute pressure? What will be the absolute pressure?
Okay, sir. From full vacuum, we have to calculate it, sir. Okay. Full vacuum. I don't know, sir.
Okay, so let me tell you. See,
Okay.
first of all, let us consider what is pressure actually. So, what is pressure? Can you define pressure?
Force per unit area.
Force per unit area, correct.
Force acting over some area, yes, sir.
Yeah, it's force per unit area. So, in Earth, we say we have some pressure, right? In normal condition also, there is an atmospheric pressure everywhere.
Yes, sir.
But how that atmospheric pressure comes? The pressure will be only when there is a force acting on an area. But is there any force which is acting on us?
Gravity?
Yes, gravity is there. But that will, because of gravity, there will be a weight which all we have. But what about pressure? How do we experience pressure due to gravity? See, it's told that everywhere there is 1 bar pressure, correct? 1.01 atmospheric pressure.
101.325 pascals.
Yeah. So atmospheric pressure, it is told that it's there. But from where that value has come? Pressure will be only there is a container which is completely closed. But our Earth is open. So how do we experience that?
Okay, sir. I don't know, sir. That one.
It is because there is an atmosphere. 14 kilometer height of atmosphere is there. In the start, you told about static head, right? Static head is nothing but pressure due to liquid height.
Okay. That much height of
here. Here, atmosphere is the liquid. Its density is very low. It's only 1 kg per meter cube, and that also varies due to height. But because of this 14-meter height, so there is a formula you might be knowing, rho GH. Rho is the density.
Rho GH.
Multiplied by gravitational acceleration multiplied with height of the liquid.
Yes, sir.
So that gives us the pressure. Okay?
Yes, sir.
So rho is 1 kg per meter cube.
Density.
J is 9.81 into 14 kilometer.
9.81. Okay.
So that gives us actually 1.01 bar pressure. Now that pressure is So now that pressure is everywhere. Okay. So what happens? We don't feel that pressure. If a vessel is there, which is open, then inside also there will be 1 bar. Outside also there will be 1 bar. Atmospheric pressure. So there will be actually no pressure. So we don't feel that pressure because it's always there. So we derived a different unit and we called it gauge pressure. So that will measure the pressure above or below the atmospheric pressure.
Atmospheric pressure.
Whatever is more than atmospheric, that is given by gauge pressure. Let us say I have 2 bar absolute pressure.
2 bar absolute pressure means from gauge pressure 2 bar.
Local atmospheric pressure is 1 bar. So what will be gauge pressure? What will be gauge pressure?
Gauge pressure is 2 bar, sir.
Now I'm asking, there is a absolute pressure of 2 bar.
Oh, absolute pressure. Okay, sir.
Okay, and
Absolute
local
pressure of 2 bar.
atmospheric pressure is 1 bar.
So 1 bar, sir. Gauge pressure is 1 bar.
So 2 minus 1, absolute pressure minus the local atmospheric pressure will gives us gauge pressure, right? Whatever above atmosphere
Okay.
or below. So below also is like how we can create pressure which is below atmosphere is by using vacuum pumps, right? If we start sucking the air from a vessel, it will almost create vacuum. There will be no gas inside. So no gas means no pressure.
Vacuum.
That will be absolute zero. Okay, that is called full vacuum in terms of gauge pressure. So actual pressure is
sir.
not
Full vacuum means at what pressure it will be called full vacuum, sir?
zero absolute pressure. Zero.
Means, with respect to atmospheric pressure, how much will you say, sir? Minus 1.
Minus 1.
325.
Minus 1.
Okay, sir. Minus 1.
Okay. So with respect to local atmosphere, there is no atmosphere at all. There is no gas. So from local atmosphere, this is if local atmosphere is 1 bar, then it will be 1 bar down. 1 bar down means minus 1 bar in gauge term.
Full
Correct?
vacuum. Okay, sir.
That is called full vacuum. Anything in between is called partial vacuum.
Partial vacuum. Okay, sir.
Okay. So that is all about gauge and absolute pressure. You should always remember that gauge pressure is above or below the atmospheric pressure. Okay. So there is a static head which we saw. If water is there, the static, you know that water density is 1000 times more than air, 1000 kg per meter cube.
Yes, sir.
So rho GH, if we can calculate, it will give high pressure. Okay. So
yes, sir.
if we want, we can calculate pressure due to 1 meter of water column. Okay. I will just give you a homework. You can just write it down. Find out pressure due to 1 meter of water column.
1 meter of water column, sir. Okay.
1 meter of water column. There is 1 meter height of water. What will be pressure at the bottom due to that head? That is called static head.
0.9, sir.
Yeah.
0.9.
0.9.
Rho GH by 1000.
Rho is 1000.
Yes, sir.
G you can take 9.8. 9.8.
9.8, sir.
Yeah. And height is?
Yes, sir.
1.
Height is 1 meter, 1000 mm.
Yeah, 1000 mm. So what you calculated? So first of all, you have to see the unit. What is the value you got?
9810. 1000 into 9810 into height 1000.
What you got?
9.810, sir.
9.810. 9.810. What unit?
Pascals.
9.81 Pascal.
Yes, sir.
You know 1 bar is how many Pascal?
10 power 5, sir.
So 1 bar is 10 to 5 Pascal. So you can see how less pressure it is.
10 power 5.
Just a minute. See, you have to be very careful when you are calculating, with different units. I'll show you how to calculate it.
Okay.
So when you are doing such calculation, see, rho is 1000.
1000 into 9810. Yes, sir. 9810.
9.81 we can say, into h is 1.
Okay.
Now what I will do, I will write the units also of each one, what I have taken. Okay, you were taking in mm, I am taking in kg, meter cube and kg. Okay, kg per meter cube. What is acceleration? Meter per second square, right? Then height one is
meter.
In meter. Okay, so this can be also written as, if we do some calculation, so this meter into meter will be meter square.
Okay.
So down will become kg per meter. Okay. Can it be written like this?
Kg meter per second. Yes, sir.
Actually, this will become kg meter second square, right? This is what?
9810.
This is unit of what? See, we need in terms of SI unit, right? Pascal or megapascal or bar. What is this actually?
Kg per meter.
See, for that, let us see what is Pascal. We just will break down Pascal first so that we can understand this unit. Pascal is what?
Newton per mm square.
Newton per mm square.
Newton per mm square.
Okay. Newton per mm or Newton per meter square? Pascal is Newton per meter square. Okay, megapascal is Newton per mm square. So now Newton is not actually in SI, so we'll break down Newton. Newton is what? Force. Force is nothing but mass into acceleration. Can I write that kg mass into acceleration is nothing but meter per second square?
Meter per second square
into then divided. This will become Newton. Now divided by meter square. Correct? So can you see this is actually the same unit. If meter, I remove from here and this becomes actually
98. Yes, sir.
The same. Okay, that means this is actually nothing but Pascal. So this is Pascal actually. Okay, so if we want to put it in bar terms, so we know that
by 10 power 5.
Yes, divided by, if we do divided by 10 power 5, then it will become
10 power 5.
We divide by, it becomes bar. Okay, so this will be how much then?
Pascals 9810.
Yeah, 0.0981.
Okay, sir. In bar.
In bar.
0.0981.
Correct?
Yes.
So, if let us say for simplicity, if I take 10, G value 10, then it will become 0.1. Just for you to remembering it easy term. 0.1. So that means if there is a 10 meter, this was for 1 meter water column, right? We calculated for 1 meter water column.
1 meter.
So you can remember this one, or you can remember 10 meter water column is equal to 1 bar. Whatever you feel easy to remember.
Okay.
So 10 meter water column is nothing but actually 1 bar equal to atmospheric pressure. Okay. If we want to feel how much one atmospheric pressure will feel, it is equivalent to 10 meter water column above you. we are carrying actually 10 meter water column on our head.
Okay.
Okay, that is what is actually 1 atmospheric pressure. Clear? So if you want to write it in megapascal, so it's 0.1 megapascal.
0.1 megapascals.
So you have to be very clear about units, right? So as a designer, you should remember it always. The conversion of unit should be very quick in converting these units, because see, as a designer, we cannot go to Google and use conversion. It will not look good as a designer. We can always do that, but that is not give good feeling about us. So it's better to remember it. So 1 bar, the other unit is PSI. Correct? So 1 bar is roughly 14.7 PSI. Okay, so these things, different units, we always need to remember it. Okay? Now let us come back to our presentation. Now this maximum allowable working pressure will study later when we learn the calculation.
Okay, sir.
Then it will be easier for you to understand that. Okay, so let us see, now we have understood pressure. Let us see if we will see some examples and let us check if we have understood it clearly. Okay. So what will be the design pressure in this case? You can see an example. There is a vessel having internal pressure 10 bar absolute, external pressure 1 bar absolute. What is the resultant design pressure here?
Okay, 1 bar absolute means atmospheric pressure.
What will be the
external is atmospheric pressure, sir. External is atmospheric, sir. External is atmospheric.
1 bar absolute. It's written there.
1 bar atmospheric. So internal pressure is 9 bar gauge pressure.
So design pressure internal you will take 9 bar.
Is 9 bar.
9 bar gauge.
Yes, sir. 9 bar gauge pressure.
9 bar gauge. So 9 bar gauge means 10 bar absolute. So whether you will use 10 bar as a design.
Actually, we have to go with the gauge pressure, no, sir. 9 bar. 9 bar.
Okay, so 9 bar, what? Gauge or absolute?
Gauge pressure. Gauge pressure for internal design pressure.
Okay, but how you arrived at that 9 bar gauge?
10 bar is absolute pressure, sir. So from atmospheric I considered, because inside also it will be atmospheric pressure, na? Above that one only we have to go to design, sir.
Okay. See, when we are calculating pressure, we always need to consider the resultant pressure. Okay. So
okay, sir.
We have to find out what is the resultant pressure. So let us understand it with one example. So you can see this is the boundary of the vessel. Okay. So from outside there is a force. See, we just saw. We just saw that this 1 bar absolute is what actually?
1 bar absolute is atmospheric pressure.
If we want to write it in a megapascal term, it's
yes, sir. 0.1
megapascal. That means 0.01 Newton per mm square. So per mm square there is a force of 0.1 Newton. Correct?
1 Newton.
Value of this arrow is 0.1. And from the opposite side, there is one more force this is what? This is actually 10 bar absolute. So 10 bar absolute means 1 MPa from inside, right? Hello?
0.1 newtons. Hello, sir.
So 1 bar means 1 MPa
Hello?
from inside, and from opposite side 0.1. So that will become, resultant will be what? 0.9 MPa. 9 bar. Yes, because force, pressure is nothing but force. So force always we take as a resultant, right? If both force are equal, there will be no resultant. But here the inside force is much bigger than the outside force. Correct? So 10 bar is going from inside to outside. 1 bar is, see, just forget about gauge pressure, okay?
For
gauge, you will be always getting confused. Just forget anything is kind of gauge. Now we have understood that gauge is nothing but whatever is above than atmosphere pressure. Okay? So now if we calculate here, there is a internal force of 10 bar, external there is 1 bar. So 9 bar pressure will be going from inside to outside. So that 9 bar becomes the resultant, and will design the vessel for 9 bar. Okay, it's not gauge actually. If the external pressure is 2 bar, see, it becomes gauge because we know that absolute minus atmospheric.
Okay, then it will become 8 bar.
Atmospheric internal pressure, like absolute minus atmospheric, is gauge. So that is the reason, people say that we take design pressure as a gauge pressure. Okay, but let us say if that instead of 0.1, if it is 2 bar, then
we have to go for the 8.
Yeah, subtraction. 10 minus 2 means 8. It is not actually a gauge pressure. It's just a resultant. So we are finding the resultant. Okay. We are not converting it into a gauge pressure. We are finding the resultant. Okay. Now let us see the another case. So in first case, whether there will be any external pressure also on this vessel. Internally we saw 9 bar because going from inside to outside. Whether there will be any external pressure, means force coming from outside to inside.
Inside, no.
Why?
Because atmospheric pressure is common, no sir. Everywhere it will be there uniformly.
Yeah. Come again.
So in here outside external pressure is only atmospheric pressure, so no need to design it separately, no sir.
Okay. See, I told you to just consider it in a force term. So there is internal pressure of 10 bar, which is greater than 1 bar. So definitely that case there will not be external force. There is only internal force. But let us say if internal pressure is not there. Okay.
Then it is affected, sir.
Let us now consider the second case. All the conditions are same. Only one change is there. There is a pump connected to the vessel.
Okay, sir.
So what will be internal design pressure and what will be external design pressure? First internal
pressure same, sir.
Yeah, correct. See,
okay,
don't think too much also. It's very simple. 10 bar from inside to outside, 1 bar outside. So it's same what was earlier. So 9 bar internal pressure. Now external pressure. See what happened. You like you told that 1 bar is everywhere because it's atmospheric. Okay. So that was true for the earlier case, but in this case, what happens? Pump is connected.
In this case, the pump is.
Yeah, sorry.
Pump is connected means the external pressure also we have to consider, sir.
No. I'm just explaining you. If pump is connected, it may happen that in failure condition, that input valves gets closed due to some instrumentation failure, and the pump is running. So there is no input, but the pump is sucking out all the liquids. So first it will suck out all the liquids.
Okay,
so the strain bar will go down.
Vacuum will be created.
It will go to atmospheric. There will be no liquid now. But after that, the pump will start sucking all the air also which is inside. Okay, so it will start going below atmospheric. So it will suck all the air also. It will go below atmospheric. So vacuum will be created. Below atmospheric means vacuum. Negative gauge pressure. So vacuum. Once the force which is this side, let us come back to the same example. So this arrow which was earlier very high started decreasing
now it
because of pump, right? Then it become very small compared to that. It is now close to vacuum condition. So now this force will start acting from outside. Correct? Because now this is bigger.
The external pressure is high.
Yeah. This is bigger. So now the external pressure will start acting on
affecting
this vessel. Understood it?
Understood.
So that is how, so actually external pressure will act only in the failure condition. But if we envisage that this condition may happen, then we need to design this vessel for external pressure also.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so please remember that it will not happen in operating condition. Operating condition always internal pressure is high. It will only happen in failure condition. So if we expect that there will be some conditions like that, then we need to design the vessel for that also. External pressure also. Okay.
Okay.
We are having steam at 100 degrees Celsius and 1 bar. So normally that boiling point of water is 100 degrees Celsius at 1 bar. If we increase the pressure, your temperature of boiling increases. Correct?
Yes.
So if the steam is there at 10 bar, there will be a particular temperature related to that steam which will make it in a steam condition. So if any of the pressure or temperature drops, that steam will condense to liquid. Correct? Understood? See, if the steam at 100 degrees Celsius, if the temperature dropped to 99 degrees Celsius and pressure is still 1 bar, that liquid will condense, steam will condense to liquid, water. So see, whenever there is a steam application, there are chances that it may condense and become liquid. So see, when the water is in gaseous condition, it will occupy full vessel, but when it becomes liquid, it will occupy very less area or volume. Correct? So all the other area will become free from gases. There is no gas. So it becomes similar situation as vacuum. So if suddenly it condenses, it creates vacuum inside the vessel. So as a safety precaution, we designed this vessel for external pressure of 1 bar also when there is a steam application. Understood? Okay, so either we design for external pressure or provide a vacuum relief valve so that it will open and it will not allow the vacuum to be created. That is also one option. Correct? So when we will have to see the cost of both the things. If the vacuum relief valve provision is costlier, then we'll go for designing for internal pressure thickness. External pressure thickness, correct. And if we think that because of external pressure the thickness is increasing and the cost is increasing way more than the cost of pressure relief valve, so that time we'll provide the pressure relief. That is how these decisions are made. Now let us see one more case. Now this vessel is fitted in the ground, like what is there in our petrol pumps. There are vessels inside, and in that petrol or diesels are stored. Okay, and mostly your LPG storage is always these kind of vessels. These are called mounted bullets.
Mounted bullets.
Yeah, so this is nothing but mounted bullet. Okay. So it is actually a vessel which is embedded in the earth. It is filled with sand, but pit is made. The vessel is kept and then it is filled with sand, so that if any explosion, because this LPG not explosive, so that chances are also minimized, because then there will be no fire which will go inside. Your vessel is safe.
No chance to escape.
Yeah, no chance to escape liquid also, and then from outside also nothing will come inside. Correct? It will generate fire only when there is a spark, contact with spark. Yeah. So if it's kept
it will be isolated with the environment.
Yes. It is completely now isolated with environment. So that is how the LPG is stored. So you will see always that LPG are designed in mounted bullets. They are stored. Okay, so now that because of sand, that more pressure will be exerted on the vessel. Correct? Because like rho GH we calculated for atmosphere, the sand rho is higher than even water. So this will create more pressure.
Yes.
So let us say that pressure is 2 bar due to the sand in the outside and 10 bar is the inside. So what pressure you will design this vessel for internal and external?
Internal.
For internal, how much you will take design pressure, and for external, how much you will take?
For design, I will take 8 bars.
For internal.
For internal.
Okay. For external.
For external, I will take. Because there is no atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
I will take the whole 2 bars.
See, 2 bar here is including all the pressure, atmosphere plus sand. That is actually 2 bars. So external you will take 2 bar, right?
Yes.
But why you are taking external 2 bar? Internal is 10 bar already there, so the resultant will be from inside to outside.
Yes.
So why external pressure will act?
Because when when there is no liquid, the external pressure will be more.
Okay, so you are considering a case that, see, if it is stored, so you may be taking out also with some pump or something. Okay, so you are considering a scenario when all liquid is taken out. There is no liquid inside, so that time that pressure may act, which is a true case. It can happen. It's not shown in the sketch, but see, always if LPG is mounted, it is taken out through pump. So if pump is running and nothing is going inside, so if it sucks all the LPG, so it will start creating vacuum. So at that time, 2 bar fully will start acting from the external side to internal. That is completely correct. Now that internal pressure, which you told 10 minus 2, is actually correct, but there is some clarification which I will make to you. That what happens when we fill this with sand. So in that case, so actually this half portion to that only this sand pressure acts.
Okay.
Below that, because sand will exert force on the downward direction, these portions which are below,
Okay.
that will not exert any pressure due to this sand. They will be only at 1 bar pressure, which is nothing but atmospheric. So actually this vessel, the top portions will be experiencing 2 bar, but bottom will be experiencing only 1 bar. So I cannot design a shell with 8 bar for the top and 9 bar for the bottom. Correct? I will be taking the highest pressure, like 9 bar, then I'll have to design full shell and all the descents.
Okay.
So in that case, my internal pressure will be 9 bar, because we know that the bottom portion will be not experiencing that pressure due to sand. Okay?
Yes, I got it. Yeah.
But the external pressure, the same case will be, now that bottom portion is only 1 bar which is acting, but the top portion is 2 bar, so the maximum is 2 bar. So we'll have to design for 2 bar case. So we'll have to always take the case which is having worst effect, right?
Yes.
Because we don't want our vessel to fail. So in all the cases available, we'll try to find out the worst case which can happen, and with that we'll design. So finally, for this case, 9 bar will be the internal pressure and 2 bar as a external pressure you have to design. Understood?
Yes, I got it. Understood.
Now this is a jacket case which we have already seen. This 10 bar is there, and if there is a jacket with pressure of 2 bar, then this area, see, internal pressure will be always 10 minus 1, because shell I cannot design half for 10 minus 2, 8. I'll have to design the maximum force which can be there. So 10 minus 1. So I will design full vessel for internal pressure of 9 bar.
9 bar. Yes.
Correct? And for external, this much length, because when we'll see the external pressure design, length is very important criteria. So this much length of the shell needs to be designed for 2 bar pressure. Correct? Other parts can be like this and can be designed for 1 bar. So we'll have to pick always the worst case and then design our component accordingly. This is an example of failure due to internal pressure. There is a difference in failure due to internal pressure and external pressure. This is due to internal pressure, our component fails due to yielding of the component. Okay, but due to external pressure, it tends to collapse from outside. It doesn't yield, but they collapse like this.
Yeah, because external is more. That's all.
Yeah, because of external pressure. So internal, this failure mechanism is also different. So you can see that internal pressure, it's yielding and then breaking. But in this case, it's collapsing. No, this has collapsed. They have not yielded but collapsed because the length ratio is very high. If it would have been a very small vessel, whether it would have been collapsed, if the length would have been very smaller, it will not collapse. It has collapsed only because the length was very high, and this would have not designed for external pressure. Right? So length plays a very crucial role in external pressure design.
Okay.
We'll see that when we actually design our vessel for internal and external pressure. We'll do these calculation in detail. That time we'll study.